Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Flea and I are back as we discuss Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, directed by Hiroyuki, Seshita, and Kôbun, Shizuno. A desperate group of refugees attempts to recolonize Earth 20,000 years after Godzilla took over, but one young man wants revenge above all else. Here we go. Time for Gojira.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I had seen this one before. It was, I think I saw it when it first came out, because this was a Netflix movie.
Yeah, you can kind of tell by the animation.
Animation was beautiful, to be honest. That's one thing.
It's a lot better than when they did Death Note.
Oh, that was live action, though. But no, it was live action.
I've never seen it. I just remember people saying it was horrible.
It was. It is horrible.
There was some. No, it was Fairy Tale, which is completely unrelated, but still Netflix. It had really, really terrible, chunky, really gaudy looking CGI.
The problem, Netflix started off really good, and actually they had a chance to carve themselves a niche in the sort of animation, adult animation zone, and then they got stupid, as like every company has.
We blame Sony for that. No offense, Sony, but it's your fault.
God, Sony's doing silly shit as well with God, what are they doing at the moment? They're messing up something with the PS6 they're bringing out. They're bringing up stupid things with their PS Plus subscription and all that kind of thing. They're just fully retarded.
It's like there's games that require a PlayStation subscription, even though there are like 250 odd countries in the world that do not have access to PlayStation Plus. PlayStation's, yes. PlayStation online services, not a chance. So there's like hundreds of games out there that they literally can't play.
It's getting ridiculous. I know, and still they're better compared to Xbox, because Xbox is just a complete ripoff. And I'm like, why are you doing this?
I don't think there's going to be another Xbox, but there might be another Xbox, but there are deep rumors crawling around the bottom of the internet that Sega may be involved with it.
That might not be a bad thing.
Sega have made some awesome games in the past.
I don't know why they've obviously still been going on in the background, but
they
don't understand why they
still make computer games and things like that. They just decided that after they lost the console race against Nintendo, they weren't going to create any more consoles.
And Nintendo's went friggin' I don't know what the hell Nintendo's doing.
Charging £100 for a game soon. That's what Nintendo's doing.
I was looking at that the Wii U or whatever, or now it's the Wii U 2's come out, and I'm like, nah. I'm looking at the games. I'm looking to see if there's any decent horror games. And
I looked at it. There's one game that I want, but then again, when the PlayStation 2 came out, there was only one game I want, and it's like, I'm not wasting my money buying a console for one game.
In fairness, the PlayStation have a better selection of games, and most, particularly in the horror genre, most of the iconic games came out in PlayStation before anywhere else. Nintendo's always been geared towards kids and families, that sort of thing, which is fair enough. Like, the only reason I got the N64 was for the Matrix game, and I really couldn't find anything else decent afterwards.
God, I used to play the Matrix MMO, and it was so good. I can't actually remember the actual name of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of those things where it went through alpha, got into beta, released, and then like 6 months later they closed it down.
Yeah, but that was back to Netflix again. Like they started off really strong in the animation game.
They did,
and when they brought it to like the first 2 seasons of Castlevania, for example, like they're brilliant, and then they just went wibble.
So now we've got to do it as cheaply as possible. Problem is cheap looks terrible.
Yeah, but they got obsessed, especially with the live action remakes. Nobody wants shitty live action remakes of everything. Just make good animation. And back to this, like when you see that opening scene with the ship and in the start, that's absolutely beautiful. Like that is stunning artwork.
the entire thing, like the entire thing, looks good. Because I've got to be honest, it's like after seeing I understand that like the last time we were here, we did Resident Evil Degeneration.
Yeah,
I understand the joke in the title now, why it was called Degeneration.
because of degeneration of the
It's
economy.
basically it's Resident Evil. It's not Resident Evil. It's the Resident Evil you've got at home. But yeah, it's like, because I was worried, like, is this going to be the same kind of thing? It's like, but no, it was really good.
That's what's frustrating because Amazon do it as well. When they get it right, they get it really right.
Yeah.
Everyone's bored. But when they go wrong, they don't just go like a bit wrong. They could go as far to the other side of being like terrible. Like there's no mid movies that are just watchable or enjoyable. It's either really good or awful.
Got to be honest, the cinema seems like that now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like it's either really good or it's Snow White.
Not even
No, it's not that bad,
I
honestly.
didn't even watch a full trailer. Like, do you know, I just saw the reactions to that, and that was enough.
The reaction ones put to music were quite good. That's all I know about Snow White.
And that silly wee bent gobbing off.
She's never going to be heard from again.
No, God, she's done. How to tank your
Like,
career, and it's
if she's got a history to be on stage, she'll never work in movies again.
No, I saw a thing that one of her stage shows nobody's going to, nobody's buying tickets.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so she's done. Like
it's like that. If she's got a future, it's behind the counter at McDonald's.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh well, her parents are millionaires anyway, so.
Oh, she'll be all right then.
Yeah, it's one of them type. But that was just funny, putting her beside Gal Gadot. And yeah, there's the evil queen is jealous of her good looks. You're like,
They had to get Gal Gadot bodyguard because of the things she was saying about her on social media.
that's
Jesus.
bad. That's somebody you're working with, and like you're going out in the same breath, and you're like, the dot's not joining up here. Like,
She just I don't know. She's just like, oh my god, I'm playing this iconic kids character. Therefore, everyone, kids and adults, are going to listen and dote on every single thing I say.
this is somebody that's never been told no in their life. That's that.
It's obviously it's someone who's been surrounded by yes men, for want of a better term, you know. All it's like all their friends, all their family. Oh my god, you're so wonderful, you're amazing, you're this. I said something stupid. That's so funny. You know, it's like she's never had to like. It's almost like she's never had to face reality.
Yeah.
I thought I was bad at that, but I'm not that bad at that.
No, I'm lucky enough. All my mates are gobshites, so it'll just tell me. So straight away. But yeah.
So it's the kidney punches that let you know, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but this movie wasn't that. This was good. I did enjoy it. I had seen it, like I said, ages ago, but I couldn't quite remember. And come back to it, you know, with the purpose of reviewing, you see more of the nuance in the storyline, and Godzilla is just not to be messed with. This is back to Godzilla being a monster, just pure and simple.
It's kind of like the plot up to the point where everybody leaves Earth reminded me of Godzilla King of Monsters, because it's like Godzilla arrives, all the other monster arrives. Godzilla kills all the other monsters and then just decides going to lay waste to the Earth. But you've got to be honest, it's like the some of the CG during the scenes with the monsters were kind of like were quite. They were quite plain. They were quite simple, but God, they worked.
But sometimes that's all you need. Don't overcomplicate things. Just nice, simple drawings, smooth lines, and build the atmosphere. And that's one thing that's really did it. It spent the first 10 minutes, building the atmosphere of what life is like on a colony ship, basically. Ship fleeing Earth, and bringing in two alien species as well was an interesting twist.
Yeah, it's quite a popular thing in the old like 50s, 60s Godzilla movies. Because it's like Mecha Godzilla was in the original movies. Mecha Godzilla was like it was kind of like
Was it the cockroach ones?
I ca-
Wasn't it the cockroach aliens built Mechagodzilla?
I'm not sure, but I just remember it was just kind of like this big thing standing in the middle of this theme park, and the entire thing was a ruse by aliens who were building Mecha Godzilla to destroy Godzilla.
Yeah, I think it was the cockroach aliens. And then you had the two, the twins. You know, the miniature twins that summoned Mothra.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Even though they were rubber suits, like
Oh, those crazy Japanese people.
Godzilla got the crap beat out of him like every time he appeared in the movie. Like he didn't just mince his way through it. It's like
I'll have you know that Godzilla won in 1 out of every 3 movies.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't just
when he won, it was like when he lost, it was always for the benefit of mankind, and when he won, it was always for the benefit of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
So win or lose, he's still a hero.
But this is the other side, which we've seen a couple of. That Godzilla's just a rampage of monster. He's a force of nature summoned when humanity steps too far. That was born out of the Toho Shu, 1950s, the advent of nuclear war.
He was what's it? Oh damn it! I can't remember the name of the boat in the original Godzilla. When Godzilla first surfaces, he destroys a fishing boat. Something Maru, all Japanese boats. But it was a fishing ship. It was a fishing ship which was accidentally destroyed along with its crew during a nuclear test.
So I used to watch them religiously every Saturday night. Remember they were on Channel 4 every Saturday night?
Oh, it used to be. I've got a lot of them on DVD, not all of them, but I love the old Godzilla movies when Godzilla was kind of like, he wasn't a good guy, but he wasn't a bad guy. He was just doing his own kind of thing. Like when he's an anti-villain, an anti-hero, sorry. They're my kind of Godzilla films. It's like, have you seen Godzilla -1?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Godzilla -1.
I think we need to talk about that sometime in the show, because that is a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a horror movie. That is such a good film. It's like, it's Godzilla as Godzilla should be. He's not on anyone's side, like you say. He's just like a hurricane, a typhoon, a tidal wave, shaped like a giant radioactive lizard. He just comes in, destroys things, and then like when he's had his time, he just goes away again.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. That was the same time that Godzilla X Kong came out, the $400 million Hollywood studio debacle. I still haven't finished it. It barely lasted 10 minutes because the dialogue just made me go.
What film? I don't recognize that film. I never will.
It's basically bright lights, CGI, like some weird purple lights are flashing as well, and a load of
I like the first Godzilla film when it came out. I quite like that film.
The one with Bryan Cranston on it.
Yeah,
that was good. I did it well with the atmosphere and everything. That was good.
I can't wait to see Bryan Cranston. Oh, he's dead. What a waste of a great actor. But it's like I quite like that film, even though the film is like what? If it's an hour and a half long, you don't see Godzilla for the first hour. There's no, you just see him in the background. There's no fight. I'll go with that. King of Monsters was okay.
I wasn't fussed.
That's why it was just okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I wasn't.
As in, like, you could sit down and watch it, but it's like the later ones. The later ones, I just haven't enjoyed them as much
because it became sanitized. The no atmosphere in them, and it all became about goofy human characters. It's like what the Transformers franchise got wrong. Is the worst thing about Transformers are the human characters. Even in the original cartoon, the human characters are insufferable. They got them sort of right in the comics, the Marvel comic run, but in the comics, or the cartoon, it was terrible.
Now, in the if I remember in the comics, you very rarely saw them.
No, and
it's like it
it
was
got
all
squished and blown
it's
up
like,
and everything. You know, what I mean, there was no mess about.
it's like Transformers. It's not. It's called Transformers. It's not called People.
Yeah, but that's I mean, it's that's what they got wrong
Mm.
with Godzilla. The movies, they started focusing on Hollywood
Yeah,
actors, but then
yeah.
this movie focuses on the characters,
Yes,
but they do it so well. They
it's
show what it's like. They actually, we've just been obliterated. The fact that even when the ships are taken off, the
it's like
sun's wiping them out.
it's like right. It's a post-apocalyptic. It's a post-apocalyptic movie set on a spaceship.
Hmm.
And it's like I'm like yeah, I can do with this. And it's like, but I love the way he's kind of like you can't send the old people, you can't force the old people out to die like this. It's like we should be saving people, not killing them.
But meanwhile, they're running low. They've no resources. No, you know, what I mean, they're running out of food,
Yeah, running out
water,
of food,
oxygen.
running out of air, water.
Because these things weren't designed. They don't have hydroponics. Like it was just a scramble. And then you're trying to understand why. But then when you see that they're not even Earth human ships, they're alien ships.
The flashback scene where it shows them as the children running towards like the escape ships. And it's like, where are my parents? It's all right. They've just they'll be with us in a minute. You see a line of buses over there, foreshadowing.
Yep.
And someone's like, wait, what's that? And the camera lifts up, and there's just this shadow, like mountainous shadow with glowing eyes in the distance. And then everybody just screams and starts running,
Which is natural. But once again, that just shows Godzilla is just an absolute force. Yeah, even no chance. And they did that in the original 1950s, the Toho stuff. When you think of everything they launched at Godzilla, the humans barely made an impact.
Yeah, true.
Full-on warships and artillery and missile launch systems, you know, and just
it's a bit God. It's like all these like the kaiju have appeared and they're destroying the world, and like Godzilla appears and destroys the kaiju. When they realize Godzilla is the big, they hit him with what? 1,500 atomic warheads, 1,500 nuclear warheads, like that. And there's this huge like continent of craters, and it didn't touch him. Hair, whatever. It's like people have got to understand I'm a massive fan of Godzilla, and this is exactly why.
Oh, understandable, because once again, here we have like when it was born out of the atomic era and everything. Yeah, that was the warning, but there was subtext. Wasn't telling you how to think. It was just showing, and the fact about a force of nature like Godzilla is impersonal. It reacts to stimuli. So if you drop in nukes and you wake it up, well, guess what? You get what you know. I mean, you get what you deserve.
It's like that's just it. Back in the 50s, Godzilla was the atom bomb. He was the A bomb. He was the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Bikini Atoll, Woomera, Nevada. He's all these nuclear weapons, and there is nothing you can do to stop them.
Yeah, and that's the. It was almost a way of coping as well, or wrapping. You know, art helps you wrap your heads around stuff that happens in the world.
I'm trying to think of the proper name for it. Damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, showing that this is, you know, there's in the end of the 20th century has happened, and yeah, same again. This has happened throughout the universe. It's not just a planetary thing.
Yeah.
So we've got the other two alien species arrive, you know, saying they'll help destroy Godzilla, but they want to settle on Earth, you know, sort of this has happened before, foreshadowing again to the other monsters.
I think the scene where they're talking about Godzilla and is like the religious aliens. I can't remember what they're called. The religious aliens who kind of like, we have arrived on Earth to save you. Bow down to God. Those the ones with the interesting haircuts.
Yep.
It's like the fact that he's talking to Sakaki, and he's been going like, we've seen so many worlds where this has happened, where Godzilla, where a Godzilla has risen and destroyed everything. Almost as if Godzilla is kind of there's like it's almost like he's a full stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a civilization goes so far and does so many things wrong, and then just Godzilla just turns up and goes, "No, you're stopping right there," and he just puts everything down.
Yeah, and that's has not always been the warning. Horror is always a warning story. If you go too far, you don't think of the consequences. There's always going to be repercussions for it.
Yeah, I think the closest the West has ever come, this is going to sound really weird, to a Godzilla film is The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Or Reign of Dragons. Or Reign of Fire, sorry. Reign of Fire. Christian Bale and...
I've forgotten all about Reign of Fire.
There's
a reason I'd forgotten about Reign of Fire.
It's all right.
I haven't seen Reign of Fire in a long time.
When you watch... on the first watch, you're kind of going, what the hell is this? If you watch it again, and you... especially some of the character moments...
Pardon my problem, I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I think you need to watch it a second time. You'll appreciate it more.
Yeah, but it's like the reason I say The Day this still is because of that moment where Klaatu basically just stops everything. Cars, planes, clocks, watches, bank machines, whatever, tellers, computers, everything just stops.
Now you're talking about the original 19.
The original is the only one that exists.
Yes, I heard rumors that were.
If anybody kind of like tells me otherwise,
yeah,
I will sulk, and you will not enjoy it. You will not enjoy it.
God,
because I will talk to you about it constantly. Yeah, but it's like the original like 19.
What was 56 one?
It was in the late 50s or early 60s, damn it. But like the original black and white one, the moment where he actually makes the earth stood still, that is the Godzilla moment.
Mm-hmm.
The moment where something is happening, you have no say in it. You have no choice in it. All you can do is either let it happen or run away. That is Godzilla.
Yeah. But
Big
this
fan.
is
Big fan.
I don't understand. Here's the thing, though. The only major plot point about this, their reaction is to jump on a ship and just sail into the cosmos looking for a habitable planet. Now we have two alien species that have arrived at Earth because it's the only habitable planet. Does that not tell you something?
Yeah, it tells you that, habitable planets a bit few and far between in the cosmos.
So
the fact that they've arrived here because of like oxygen, water, it's like we're being attacked by this huge thing. The only thing we can do, like, we can't defeat it. There's no way we can defeat it. So the only thing we can do is we can go out there and we can find another habitable planet like Earth, where our 3 species can settle down until the next Godzilla shows up.
But nobody's invented stasis or hypersleep because that's clever. But there's a line later, like towards the end of the movie, that said we'll have to withdraw to the moon and scavenge for resources, do scavenging runs, the Earth for resources. Like, why didn't you do that in the first place? You fucking idiots.
So, because Godzilla's dead. Oh no, wait, hang on a second. There's Godzilla. There he is down there. He hasn't changed a bit. Something's bumped into the ship. What tore that over? I love that bit where it's like something bumped.
Yeah.
We collided with something. We're in the air. We still collided with something. Get on the planet's surface. It's like a 50-foot long rip along the side of the ship.
Now that doesn't make you go. And the fact that landed entire. This is where it's the entire landed entire battalion. No reconnaissance.
Mm-hmm. Do you know when they were landing, for some strange reason, I got the American national anthem playing through my head.
It was a bit sort of Apocalypse Now, wasn't it? Just
Damn it! It should have been Ride of the Valkyries. It was. I was just kind of like, no, that's how you clear a landing zone.
yeah, and then they're wondering why Godzilla's gonna like wipe them out again. I know we need a landing zone. Boom, 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 boom. Like,
Release the biggest bombs we've got. Yes, sir. Pulls the lever. Thermobaric bombs at that.
yeah, no subtle landing. Like let's go for it. 600 people, all the mechs and everything. And
You've got to be quite honest. If it was good enough for the Americans in Vietnam, it's good enough for like the last few survivors of mankind.
Yeah, it didn't work for them either.
1,000 years into the future.
If I remember rightly, the Americans lost that war. It didn't exactly work out.
Well, part 2 of this year. Well, we know how part 1 of this ends. So I mean,
yeah, lessons to be learned. Maybe not bombing things and actually go and have a look first and target.
So it's a bit later on where it's like we need to sneak through this zone. We mustn't like attract the attention of Godzilla. And I'm kind of like foreshadowing, maybe.
Yeah, it's like hold on, we're all in mechs and vehicles, and yeah.
I did like those drop ships. I do like the fact that if you want an armed one, basically all you've got to do is like slot a tank turret into the top of it. That's the kind of modularity I like. That was pretty good. I got to be honest though.
It had a Gundam feel to it, didn't it?
I like the mecha design all the way through. I liked it. I'm not quite sure if I'm massively sold on those hover bikes yet.
No, they were a bit silly.
Because it's just like it
reminded me of Battlestar Galactica in 1980.
This is just kind of like a massive engine with a roll cage that only protects the engine.
Nah, they were. I think they were more for visuals than actual.
I didn't even see a strap. I'm pretty sure they weren't strapped in. But I did like the mecha were good. The mecha were good. The tanks were awesome.
They made sense. They looked like something that could have been developed, But the bikes were a bit over the top.
The bikes were they were considering everything was like really, really, really smooth. Like I said, smooth sided, sharp angles. Looked quite aggressive. Looked quite military in the way it was built together. And then you get the bike, which is basically looks like a 4-year-old had to go with an Airfix kit and managed to get too much glue on everything. They were just kind of like they were ugly. They got guns, so that's a plus point. But
they were just there to look cool and flat.
Compared to everything else, it was kind of like a bulldog in between a group of greyhounds.
But even before the land, like the whole shenanigans and political intrigue that was going on, and we'll have Metphase, the head priest or whatever of Alien One species, is helping Sakakai because he's the one who starts off, is going to blow up everything if the sacrifices. It's basically his grandfather. He doesn't care about anybody else. It's just because his grandfather's on the ship.
Yeah.
And it's even his grandfather videos him, goes, "We have chosen this." Seppuku. It's basically we decided to go. It's like in Shogun, the gardener.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gardener sacrificed himself because of the pheasant. Yeah. It's basically that again.
It's the part on the ship was so tightly done. I think you could have done like an entire film, an entire series, just from like the politics that was going on the ship. Because I see it in the notes. You've mentioned Babylon 5, and it's like it does have that feel about it.
Yeah, you've got this alliance of interplanetary species, basically trying to survive, and then they're really on the ropes. That don't know what else to do, and they're still got the vying for control. Like Metphase is trying to do it through the religious side of things and brainwashing, and you've got Mulialu, the other species, that's trying to do it through technology and entrapping people into that, making them dependent on them. They want to dominate. They want to dominate Earth, not so much the humans, but Earth. They're not trying to help the human race. They're trying to help themselves find a new place to live. Yep, and it was only purely the fact that they both arrived at the same time is why one didn't have. They're like a stalemate, if that makes sense. And you've kind of got the humans in between going, not realizing what the power struggle is.
I do appreciate the fact that Meluelo and his friends actually appeared in London. Meanwhile, Westminster,
London needs a few bombs dropped on it.
Or an alien invasion.
Not even invasion.
Oh,
just
wait, hang on.
cleansing, just flipping the place.
Hang on, and this is political. It's already had an alien invasion. sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry.
There's all the blue hairs going to be coming out, going, "Wah!" No.
But it's just hard. I've got to be honest. Between the two alien races, I don't trust either of them.
No, but you're not meant to.
Because it's like right. It doesn't matter which side you look at. It's like the humans. I'll call them the Metphys because I've no idea. Meluelo's bunch. They've all only got their best interests in view. I mean, I know that like they're trying. Each one of them seems to be trying to get the humans on their side, but the reasons for it have nothing to do with like solidarity or pulling together.
No, it's basically we're going to be if we have the humans on our side, they're going to go with us, and you're going to get kicked out, and it's going to be our planet, and we're going to rule. But it's all done so subtly; it's not in your face. It's the subterfuge, which makes it interesting. If they were at full strength, there'd be a war, but it's in this fear of desperation.
Like, how many did they save on the ship? 4,000?
4,000, yeah.
Whether that includes or doesn't include the old people who got kicked out.
Yeah, because that was like 380 of them or something.
So there's like we don't know how many ships there are, but we can hazard a guess that each one has got 4,000 on.
Well, it's one humongous ship. And those were actually landing craft coming out of the main ship.
It doesn't indicate if there are any more ships though. But it's like
it seemed a bit extravagant. Actually, the setup seemed a bit like when you see the size of those ships and the fact that we're prepared to blow one up. But I honestly think it was Sakeki's grandfather did it. Rather than them basically going a horrible death, he thought it'd be better that they just got blown up. Or maybe it was just that basically put him out of his son's mind because if he landed on the planet, his grandson would always think that he had a chance to go and rescue him.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those honorable, it was done for an honorable reason. And in those sort of scenarios, it makes sense. And especially Japanese culture, it would make sense. I mean, because it's seppuku at the end of the day. That's what they did. Just they dressed it up in ritual and
chucking the old people outside in the middle of winter so they die of exposure is a thing in many communities. Is a thing in many.
Yeah, that's like from the ancient of ancient times. God, what was it? Charlton Heston. Where he man called horse. That was what? Yeah. Man Called Horse. At the end of the day,
what a great film! Yeah.
Do you remember the last scene? Basically, the mother of one of that had a battle, and one of the Braves' mothers was going to basically be chucked out.
Yes, and he took her in.
He took her in, accepted her. Basically adopted her to be his mother, so that she could stay in the tribe.
Oh, what a great film.
But I mean, there was things like that. That was the nature of things. That's the nature, the harsh reality of survival. Tough choices get made. And it's even look in the animal kingdom, survival of the fittest. You look at a herd of animals, it's always like the knackered one, or the one gets an injury, it just gets left, and that's the one that gets munched on by the predator. But the herd gets to move on.
This is why we got rid of bears in this country, and they're on about bringing them back.
This country's too industrialized for wild animals. We don't have any. Though the only areas are in Scotland. We've effectively got wild animals running about.
They're on about releasing lynxes in Scotland.
It's only like Galloway Forest is the only place you can, one of the few places you still go deer stalking.
Mm.
Up in the Highlands, you know.
Oh, wait.
Let's chat on Thursday. Actually, when we're doing our the paranormal review, we can't do any scenic shots or period pieces here, really, outside Downton Abbey, because everywhere's too industrialized. Everywhere's got pylons or motorways or train track running through it.
This is true.
And it's still not enough. Like, people still want to build on the green zones instead of repurposing the shitty derelict buildings and sites that have been left to rot.
Because it's cheap. It's cheap to build new than it is to knock all down and build there. That's a problem. But it's like but it's like we are an industrialized nation. I mean, look at our steel industry.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, we've got one left.
It's like, what steel? Look at our amazing shipbuilding heritage.
God, I'm driving back home flipping. Harland Wolf's got to get another. I don't know how that company still exists. Harland and Wolf.
It's mostly because of the military.
Well, they had a thing going for a while, building repairing oil rigs, and even that they managed to fuck it up. And then they're out there, another subsidy, please. It's like, fucking go away.
Well, look at the most famous ship Harland and Wolff ever built.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
It sank on its first voyage.
And do you know what's even better? They managed to make Northern Irish Tourist Board managed to make a tourist industry a lot. This is our fuck up, but sure, we'll make money off it. Why not? Like, that's necky. You have to give props for that.
So if they knew what they were doing. I think they're responsible for building the shuttles in this, which is why it blew up.
Yeah. The hyperspace, they were getting ready to jump to hyperspace to go back to Earth.
I was going to say, I was wondering, it's like, how long have they been in space? How far are they away? Because I know the Tau, which is 116, can't remember. But it's like, how long have they been in space? We've been here for 20 years. 20 years and it screwed it up that badly.
Yeah. And none of the universe is mapped. Or obviously they went the other direction because everything's destroyed up to them. But
it's like not even the two alien racers who came from space to the Earth had maps.
Yeah, you kind of wonder about that, don't you?
It is one of the plot holes, and it's like they must have even if it's just like a small area, there must be chance of this, unless they've already like.
Well, I think the opening or the flashback scene where basically the alien species arrived, that Earth was the next inhabitable planet. That was it, because everything else has been destroyed. I suppose that was the lead up to it. Then they had to basically go into uncharted territory. I can kind of fill that plot hole in.
But what happened to the alien ships though?
Is that not that's the thing? I don't think they're Earth ships that they're on. I think they're alien ships. I don't think.
Because it's like
it's the end of the 20th century. I don't think like in this universe Earth is a spacefaring race.
It's like Metaphys and his lot. They arrive in flying saucers.
Mm-hmm.
Just after that, Muluelu and his bunch arrive in like flying cigar-shaped ships.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like the ship they escaped in is like this big chunky thing with some kind of ring section.
It's like almost combined.
It has a look of like must have been built in orbit.
Yep.
Because there's no way that thing was taking off.
But what I don't get, like I said, this is the plot hole, is the fact that they went. Their first instinct was to go, let's go traveling instead of let's get out of Earth's atmosphere, as in out of the firing range, take stock, prepare, and then see what we're doing next. That's the bit that's sort of the only sort of bit that's messing with me with this movie, because it's enjoyable otherwise.
moon. I mean, like they say late when it's like, right then, we're going to have to go to the moon and build a base there and just like send like supply runs to Earth and back.
Yeah.
It's like,
Stealth ones, because Godzilla can't be everywhere. So they could have done that. Like I said, it just seemed a bit.
that is the only weak point in this film, though.
Mhm.
The fact that why didn't they do this in the first place instead of leaving?
Leave Earth's atmosphere, yes. Get as many survivors as possible, and then have a holding pattern. Either use the moon or just be in space.
You could just have like
the International Space Station, just outside the Earth's
Colin is
atmosphere.
in orbit of the Earth.
Yeah.
But
Like
no,
Battlestar Galactica, you know what I mean? They could have done that, but just not as like in Battlestar Galactica, the Cylons were effectively pursuing them, so that's why they had to run. But this wasn't the same case because Godzilla's earthbound.
I blame politics.
You know what I mean? Something's went wrong, and I think
without doubt, it was some politician's idea that we should leave Earth and find a new Earth.
Yeah, that was it. This is the popular idea. Let's go. Let's not think about provisions, survivability. Let's not invent hypersleep or stasis. Yeah, but the hyperspace jump back to Earth, that for all the build up, it was nothing.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was like the world's most disappointing firework.
Yeah, it just went
massive fizzes, massive. You're waiting, and it just kind of goes like pop. But it's like maybe I'm thinking that was like the last scene they actually animated, and they were running out of money.
I don't know how it's obviously it's not a normal studio anime production, so I don't know how to do it with Netflix. I don't know if money's an issue. When it seems to be when Netflix greenlights something, then it gets all the money it needs. The problem is you may not, even if it's successful, you may not get a season 2 or an addition or follow on.
Some of the guys who worked on this in like directorial and the directorial and producer departments actually worked on Resident Evil Degeneration. Maybe this was the thing they were in charge of.
They were contractually obliged to be still be employed, so they'll give them that bit just to go, there you go, now we can sack you. Contract's up.
Have you seen the hyperspace jump? It's terrible. It's all we've got to use it.
Yeah, that was a bit.
The arrival scene was a bit better though, where they actually pulled into Earth orbit. That ranked up there with like the beginning part where you see the ship coming around the side of the planet.
Yeah, and the probe scene was just showing how changed the Earth is, and the fact that another wee plot point is they're on oxygen the whole time. Rather than wear EVA suits permanently.
Because of the way because of what's happened to Earth.
No, but I'm just thinking of how many refills have they got in them?
Yeah. What on the ship? It's like they were like pressure suits the entire time.
Well, it just seemed to be their uniform, but basically once they went down to Earth, they had to have the helmets on permanently. And yeah, when you think of the time scale, it's like, and the fact that ships are getting blown up and stuff, it's like, where's their oxygen supply? Never brought up.
They've got an alien machine that makes oxygen.
Okay. They're effectively still suits, are they?
It's not bottled and it's not out of water, honestly. I can get away with it when they're on the planet Earth, because I'm guessing although the atmosphere is messed up, the atmosphere still contains oxygen. So you could just have some kind of filter on your suit that filters the oxygen out of the air.
It was just never brought up.
I think they mentioned that it's because there's a lot of crap floating around in the atmosphere, and it mentions in a brief moment that the crap that's floating around in the atmosphere is the pollen from these huge plants that aren't trees but are something similar.
Mm.
Where it's literally like one of those things where it's just like it's a comment, it's a comment off to one side that comes from one of the side characters you probably never see again.
Yeah. Just another wee niggly bit, I guess, which for a movie, I guess, isn't bad. Like when you've got a handful of little niggly bits that you're sort of wondering plot wise how that works.
And a lot of mind you, a lot of science fiction, a lot of films in general have things like that. It's like this doesn't work, that doesn't work.
Oh yeah, always. But that's like I'm saying, just the point of making it. That's it. You know, there's not that much. You know, if you're watching a bad movie, you'll nitpick everything. But because this is enjoyable and it's actually the pacing's really good. Like we needed that bit to that 30 odd minutes just to warm us up and get us all the backstory and make us understand, because this is the first part of a trilogy.
Yeah, the actual lead in at the beginning before we arrive at Earth, I think it's actually one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, because like I said, you didn't feel as if you were being getting an exposition dump. You were getting the atmosphere. You're then getting to understand the political dynamics. The fact there's three species, you know, interacting with each other. All three are on their last legs. Nobody's in a position of advantage. They want to be, but they can't because of circumstances. And Godzilla just happens to be like a massive force of nature that brought this all about. And yeah, then when it gets to the Earth, they can just crack on with the action, you know, and just get on with it. They're not having to waste time.
Back to the drones. Drone 6 has discovered something. What is it? We don't know, but it's right there. Drone 6 explodes. But just before it explodes, you hear a familiar roar.
That has to be the most iconic monster sound ever.
If you played it to anyone in this world, I think they'd instantly know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's always has been such a great noise. What a great sound. But it's like, there was no doubt that was Godzilla's roar. What are we going to do? We'll go down and we'll go down. We'll do reconnaissance.
But when you think they weren't even going to attempt it, but they had the whole political intrigue of Sakaki basically devising a tactic to kill Godzilla, and it had to be launched as like an internet rumor. You know, you had to put
it's like, if in doubt, post it on social media. You know, any of the people who believe anything that's posted on social media, it's like, I've got this amazing way that we can destroy Godzilla. It's like, I'm going to list it to all my friends on Facebook. You know, but yeah, it's kind of But I love the fact that it's like they turn around to Metphys, and it's like, we want you to lead this mission. All right, I'll lead this mission on. I've got two things I want first. You can have them. I can't remember what the first one was, damn it. But the second was, the guy who's in prison for threatening to blow up a shuttle has to come with us.
But he was helping them anyway. He was feeding them the information.
It's like never, right. There's an old saying: never trust a priest.
Especially if you're under a certain age.
Especially if it's a boom. It's like, especially if his name's Metphys and he's not human. Have you got the latest thing? Yes, here it is. And then he's like doing some kind of sacrament or something, while the other guy's uploading it onto the internet with his virtual hand computer. Where can I get one of those?
Well, do you remember they made the Park Glove back in the day? Never. So they're trying to make that, and it's another one of them projects that just fell by the wayside. It's a bit like VR. Do you remember VR was like massive in the 90s, and then it just stopped, and now they started to try and bring it back in again.
Yeah,
and you're just like, okay, it's
I
just
remember
weird technology.
The original old. We used to have to wear the specs with the different colored lenses.
Oh yeah.
You know, proper VR, where they were doing the films on television. Oh God, where people kept falling towards the camera. Whoa! Oh my God, they're in the room with us.
I used to collect this series back in the day called Quest. It was one of them two fortnightly things that come out,
Yeah.
and all the stuff they come up with, like 3D. I can't remember when they first had the idea for mobile phones, but they still had them tethered to the phone boxes, but they were going to be receivers instead.
Oh God, yeah.
Not even close to what it is today.
I
And then
rem-
they had this idea for projections, for TVs projected onto the floor, like 3D.
yeah.
Not even.
See, it's the 21st century. We're supposed to be watching hologram TV, wearing silver lycra jumpsuits and flying around in cars.
What are we doing?
I want my money back.
Yeah. What are we doing? Just arguing with each other over silly shit and getting dumber every day. Oh, there's a Andy one.
It's got
What's Harworth? Something happening there?
I'm googling it.
Is there a gaming event or something? But yeah, it's a bit rough as well. They've kept Sakaki in handcuffs even when he's in his cell. Like,
got to be honest, I like those handcuffs.
The sort of like magnetic ones.
Ding. Ah.
Oh right, okay. Doing personal. Cool. Hope it all worked out.
You missed UKGE, by the way.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, because I've seen lots of posts about that, and I thought that's where he was. But that's where it was happening.
But wait. Oh yeah, it's like magnetic handcuffs. God,
Yeah.
you could just wouldn't you could use. If we had something like that, we could use it instead of, like, ASBO tags. So if you try and run away from the police, you just click a button and then you're tied up in knots. That'd be amazing.
Just have like both hand and ankle bracelets, so you just hit a button, it just goes clunk, and you just fall over.
It's like the young lady who is kind of his like the young lady who's kind of like his guardian. It's like they know each other, but it's not really explained why they know.
I thought they were family.
I got no idea. I actually thought the old guy, the old guy who blew up. I actually thought he was like her grandfather, and he was kind of like a family friend kind of thing.
It was left a bit ambiguous, wasn't it? Yeah, I couldn't quite. I know they weren't lovers or anything. It's definitely familial.
She was definitely like the girl next door kind of character.
But I was getting more of a, like, if they weren't brother and sister, they were cousins. I was definitely getting a family vibe rather than
there was some relationship between them, but it wasn't necessarily lovey.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. She was all right.
Yeah.
But then it's like but it's the fact that it's like, how many people do you need to do this reconnaissance? 600. It's like 3 divisions, 600. No, we can't do it. We only got 4,000 people.
But we just sent like 380 their deaths before. Like, if we had those 380 people, they could have done it.
It's like they're old, but it's fine because they're all using like power suits and things like that. They'll be all right. But
I just love the way the reconnaissance is all mechanized. Like, it's full invasion. It's not sneaky beaky stuff.
I've heard of reconnaissance by force, but this is taking it to another level.
Yeah. Like, when I think of reconnaissance, it's digging a ditch, putting a poncho over the top of your head and camouflaging it, and pissing and shitting into bags for 3 days. Because an OP only is only viable for 72 hours. After that, you have to get out because you just
it's the fact
break down.
It's the fact that not only do you have to shit in plastic bags, it's the fact that you have to take it with you.
Yeah, because you can't leave anything anywhere.
You can't anywhere because they can like get it out and go like, oh yeah, this was obviously a bloke from Western origin because he's got a lot of wheat in his diet. What?
Trackers are actually mad like that. And one of my mates was saying he spent some time with one and Blaze, and he just showed him all sorts. And like, bloody, he was relaying it back to me, telling me about it all. I'm like, that's mad. You have to be like top. You just have to be like, that's super nerdy. Like you have to
Yep.
be proper. Like if you're,
Mm.
oh yeah, 3 days ago, like those people do exist, and I'm like, okay.
It was like it was. They were here 3 days ago. They like went left west. Stop licking his turd. It's like
Yeah.
it's like peanuts. It's obviously American. How do you know? Look at all this sweet corn. It's like, oh God, Jesus!
The sugar content.
It's like,
Oh, that was the worst scene ever in a movie.
it's like sip. Ooh, diabetes.
Have you seen the Slumber Party Massacre?
I have not seen the Summer Marty Pascal, but
Right.
I'm making a note of
The
it.
most disturbing scene is they're making up Screech, that powdered drink, whatever it is. They're
Oh,
making up a jug of it, right?
yes.
So they pour a bunch of that stuff in the bottom, right? And then the girl gets half a bag of sugar and goes thudunk, and it's
Oh,
it's like a 1
God.
liter friggin' jug,
Wow.
and you're like, oh, you just
Okay.
feel like in the back of
It's
your
like,
head,
it's like
it's the most horrifying scene in any horror movie.
oh my God. It's like I can feel my pancreas shriveling up. Stop it. Oh no.
Just feel yourself shriveling up, don't you? The diabetes type 5 getting
Sorry. Oh
invented.
my God. Haven't they invented a new? Hang on, don't we already have? Haven't they invented a new type of diabetes recently?
Well,
I'm sure.
it would have after that movie taken a lot. Just one sip of that thing, you'd have had a new type of diabetes. Fucking
God,
hell.
I had Kool-Aid once. Jesus, never again. It's like drinking. The only difference between Kool-Aid and corn syrup is it takes a bit more like cheek action to get corn syrup out the bottle.
Yeah,
Oh God.
that's brutal. Yeah, it's the most horrifying scene. It just made me go.
No, 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 no. Oh God, quick, where were
Um,
we? Bombing the landing strip. That's what it was. No, no, no.
it's close to the 1950s Toho movies. I think that's but it's definitely in the horror bent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Godzilla is
it's
not benevolent. He is a force of destruction.
if you think about the later so like the middle Toho movies where you've got Godzilla jumping up and down and doing boxing moves. Forget those.
Yeah.
Forget those. It's like it's
Or the
it's much.
first of the current, what do you call them? Well, I don't know. It's part of a series now, but the Hollywood ones.
Oh, the MonsterVerse,
Yeah, the
or
first of
whatever they've
those, the
called it.
Brian Cranston. That's when
Yeah. Or it's like if
Mako.
you
Is it Mako? He was in Last Samurai. He's always a distinctive voice.
yes,
Let them
make
fight.
whatever his name is.
He's in the second one.
It's like it is. We call him Godzilla. He never has been. He never has been the protector of the humans. It's kind of like it's kind of like in the like I was talking about this earlier in the the Toho Japanese movies from like the 50s up to like the 80s when they peaked out and now they've started again. It's kind of like if Godzilla loses, it helps mankind. If Godzilla wins, it helps mankind. It's like mankind's got all these tanks and aeroplanes and laser guns and things attacking Godzilla, and Godzilla just like walks through them, clonks the bad guy one.
Nah, it's,
Sorry, I'm fanboying again. I really want to see the next one of these. We've got to roll it.
yeah.
We really must roll it. If we don't roll it, I'm going to force you to put The Executioner and Her Way of Life on the list.
There's always a worship movie they had.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna fill this. We'll never. Do you realize?
I love reviewing shit movies. That's the
just-
thing. If it's a terrible movie, I love just ripping it to pieces and getting to be
But
grumpy
that's
old
the
man
problem,
for
it's
an hour or
just
two.
Yeah, I understand that because it's like we're hearing this guy. It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie, but because it's a really really good movie, it's kind of like we want people to watch this, so we don't want to give away too much of the plot. We want people to watch it and be surprised by it and enjoy it and not just go like, oh yeah, I remember I'm talking about that bit. If it's a shit movie, you can do anything you want because you think it's terrible and you don't want people to watch it. Alien Covenant. Sorry,
So you just go through scene by scene and
go scene by scene and basically like just like spray shit over the walls. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I just love the fact that they realize that because of time displacement or whatever, they didn't quite explain it, but the
So it's
rotation of the sun, their 20 years in a straight line through the cosmos is equated to 20,000 years.
20,000
They thought it was 10,000 years, and then they realized it's actually
Mm.
twice as long as that. They just they even miscalculated that initially.
It's like what it's like. So right. So obviously, whatever they're using their hyperspace jump is, time dilation is a thing.
Hmm.
So it's like they're traveling at the speed of light, but time is still accelerating. And I'm like, wow.
It's a clever concept.
It's
So
kind of like it's very because it's just been mentioned. It's very alien, isn't it? Where you get where the ship you're traveling is traveling at like relativistic speeds, but you have to be put in like a sleep capsule. You have to be put in stasis for that amount of time.
which is the bit they forgot to invent, hence
Which
all
is
the
the
trouble they're
bit
having.
they forgot to invent in. This is why people get old and have to get shot into planetary atmospheres. Yeah. Cal Beta.
And all that time in 20 years, they never rigged anything up. They never like even collecting water. Like they're going through the vacuum of space. You're telling me they didn't?
Yeah. But it's like this right there's
These
like
huge fuck off ships, and they're like fully industrialized military, and they never figured out. Let's get a bit of cup and water or something, or like get the ice crystals and melt them down or something.
I'm kind of like what it is. I'm the size of the ship because you've got to be. It's considering the fact that it's got like one shuttle was blown up. They use how many on landing the reconnaissance force? Is it 6 or 8?
6 or yeah, there's
It's either 6 or 8. So I'm guessing there's a spare one on board. So these humongous, great, massive ships, right? With these like they've had. Let's have a guess. They've lost one. There's 6 or 8 on landing. Let's say they have 10 of them. Yeah.
yeah, because they need more for the rest of the.
Right. Yeah. How
colonists
big
as
is the hangar bay on this ship, and how much of that ship is actually the hangar bay? Because when you see them launch, those ships are absolutely tiny. So it's like there's 4,000.
It was hard to get the perspective, or wasn't it?
Yeah,
Because
it's like there's 4,000 people on. If there's 4,000 people on that ship, is that ship absolutely crammed to the gills, or is only a tiny part of it inhabited? It's never. I think that ship is absolutely huge. Because it's like they're talking about, oh yes, we're running out of food, we're running out of supplies, we're running out of water. But it's like if it's only like 4,000 people, that ship has supplied 4,000 people for 20 years. That's a lot of stuff to have on board your ship.
Yeah.
There's got to be. I think there's got to be something on there that makes water, something that makes food. But is it just the fact that they're like, because they've been out in space working non-stop for 20 years, are they breaking down? Is that the problem?
I think it's the time. Yeah, it's definitely the time they've been out. But the fact that they never jury rigged, I can understand running out of food, but the water when there's ice crystals, I mean, they never figured that bit out.
Yeah,
is a bit.
It is, but it's kind of like, yes, we can't land on this planet because the atmosphere is not breathable. And it's like atmosphere, right? True science fact. Whatever's in the atmosphere will soak into whatever the water is. I mean, if you've got a planet where the atmosphere is ammonia, the water will also be ammonia.
But there's ways that
There's
now you're trying to make me remember what bloody
NH3 is ammonia, I believe.
Oh,
I think, off the top of my head.
Chlorine. Is it not? It's not a chloride.
Anyone who has changed a baby's nappy will know how toxic ammonia is. Is it?
NH3.
My God, it
is right. So nitrogen and hydrogen.
My,
so you can
my
the
God,
hydrogen.
it is NH3. Jesus. Sorry, I've impressed myself.
It's a hydrocarbon, isn't it? Chemical compound.
But it's like where do you get you can crack it. You can crack it to get nitrogen and hydrogen.
Yep.
Where do you get the oxygen to crack into the hydrogen to make the water out of it.
But once again, there's they're going through the fastest of space. Over 20 years.
Yeah, but it's the thing seems to be is the fact they haven't found a planet yet with a breathable atmosphere.
Yeah. No, but it just meant for just producing water. There's got to have been a way. But they obviously didn't. They brought their military. One planet brought their military. The other brought their religious. Nobody brought scientists.
The other one, but that's what I'm thinking. It's like this. How many people on board this? Is actually the point I was thinking. How many people on these ships are like specialists, scientists, climate engineers, that kind of thing, or is it just like 4,000 people? There's maybe like, I don't know, 1,000 soldiers and religious people and 3,000 regular people. Because think about it, it's like the main character, Captain Sakaki, he was like, what, 5? Even he was a young child when he was brought on. He was only like 6, 7 years old, maybe, when he saw Godzilla destroy his parents by blowing up the spaceport with one of the most impressive sounding atomic breaths I've ever heard. Because it was kind of like, choo!
I love that, the sort of the subsonic, and it gets done a couple of times.
It is.
It just makes it, that this, it just reminds you this is not a creature to be messed with. It's not a cute and cuddly. It's completely removing all of that. This is not your friend.
I love the fact that they've worked out the reason that nothing is capable of destroying Godzilla is because Godzilla has got his own force field. Oh, I am so for that. This is as far as I'm concerned, this is now canon.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Like if a giant lizard can survive nuclear blasts and shoot atomic breath, well, yeah, a force field, a way of doing it is not out of the question.
Is it King of Monsters where they literally where Godzilla is wounded in his fight with King Ghidorah and they literally plonk an atomic bomb in front of his nose and detonate it?
Yeah, because that's Mako. That's his character, isn't it? Does it?
Yeah, his character dies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of like that film, but it's just kind of like when they land in force, 600 troops. There's a nice, lovely, pristine, slightly alien forest beneath them, so they basically firebomb a landing zone in it.
Once again,
America.
It kind of goes against, stealth, reconnaissance. Those two words indicate that you don't want to be found.
Oh yeah, but it's like reconnaissance.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's reconnaissance by force. They've got giant robots. They've got tanks. They've got armored suits. They've got power armored suits. They've got tanks. They've got flying motorbikes. They've got these huge.
That's called advanced contact. That's basically going to war.
No. Reconnaissance by force. That's what that is. It's called an invasion. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
It's like I'm pretty quite sure during Desert Storm when we went into Kuwait and far into Iraq, we didn't have that kind of firepower behind us. It's
oh god. I still they're calling this their restaurant, the one up in the top or basically on the tower. That was a similar version was featured during Final Destination Bloodlines. This is how arrogant the Kuwaitis are. They have these pictures outside and go, look, the Iraqis shot our air conditioning. That's what they've got is like their war crimes.
Oh, the poor loves. Yeah.
Oh, it's mad. That was funny because they actually
they shot more than that, but you get your priorities right there.
Yeah, so. That's what they were worried. We went to that restaurant. It was hilarious. You just saw all these signs of their hardships. They drive like maniacs and they're all grounding Lamborghinis and stuff, and it's just like they just drive them like they're bangers.
It's like, yeah, but it's like no, the worst driving ever is India. It's because it's like I actually don't think. No offense.
Their trains are scary.
It's like I like the fact that they've got more seating on the outside than the inside,
and the fact they're full on cooking and all sorts, like full on cooking flatbread.
You're there. you're up near the engine, but you're just like dodging the pantograph and the electric wires ahead of you. You jump back two carriages, so you can get like a curry or something to take back up with you.
And there's only been like a handful of disasters. Somehow it works. Like, okay.
Well, more people dead. It's like the last time, why didn't more people get electrocuted? Not long ago, there was a girl in France who got electrocuted taking a selfie when her selfie stick hit the live wire above her. That doesn't happen in India. You get entire families like just like sitting there having picnics on top of the trains. It's an amazing country.
It's mad.
The roads are deadly though, because it's like nobody knows where they're going. Everybody's indicating in all the directions at once, and nobody actually knows what side of the road they should be on.
Yeah, it's just free for all.
And then you get those really, really big, really, really brightly covered trucks that break in half every couple of miles. Scary. Yeah. Anyway, reconnaissance by force.
That's basically the way these were operating. Just
yeah, it's. I gotta admit, it did make me laugh when they just kind of like bombed the landing zone big enough for everyone, and then touched down. I did love those landing ships though.
Yeah. The thing is, when they're we're not going. There's stuff happens on the planet, and they realize, oops. But the fact that they're surprised that Godzilla is like moving towards them, like really. How could he have possibly found us? I don't know. You just bombed the shit out of everywhere and landed. This place has been peaceful for thousands of years, and all of a sudden humans arrive back, and everybody knows within 10 minutes.
Drop a few bombs, and everyone wants to attack you. I don't think it's. I don't get it, but it's like. But it's like the bit where they're having that meeting afterwards. And it's like this has got. I like the bit where it's like they're landing and there's a crunk noise. What was that? Something just hit the ship. Whoa! What do you think it was? No idea. They get out the ship when they land. They go to look at the side of the ship. There's like a 50-foot long gouge along the side of the ship, dug in, killed, metal ripped open,
and nobody's worried.
And everybody's just kind of like, huh. That's a thing. And then they turn around and just keep on doing what they're doing. They have a massive meeting. Sakaki's still in handcuffs.
I just love when they kept in handcuffs the whole time until like the very end.
It's like I'll do the personnel bits, but Captain Sakaki here is in charge of the actual operation in his handcuffs. It's like, wow. It's like, oh yeah, I trust this guy to lead us into combat.
I know they're setting an example, but bloody hell.
It's a bit totalitarian on board the ship, isn't it? I mean,
well, it kind of needs to be, or else it'd be absolutely. Because remember they talked about as well that, if this gets back up to the surface, there'll be a riot.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I kind of think from like the fact they had like troops ready to take him out in the beginning. And the way everybody was kind of like, while it was going on, everybody seemed to be cowering. I think things like this have happened before, and I think they deal with it with a very, very heavy hand.
Which makes sense.
Which all the more makes me want to have
mutiny. It's the equivalent of mutiny. They're effectively become a navy. And an act like that's mutiny, and usually it's punishable by death.
Do you think they want it then? Because that's like, that's even less people to feed.
Well, of course, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Especially if they get to that point, then any transgression would lead to, okay, right, one less, and then never recycle the bodies.
Soylent Green is people. It kind of like this. This is the problem I've got. It's like we've spent like the first third of the film on the ship. Yeah. The part on the ship is absolutely great. It answers a lot of questions, but I've got more questions than there are answers, and I want a movie or a series that covers like the journey and the mission out to the point where they turn around and come home. I want
the sort of degradation, see the sort of the desperation, the sort of hopefulness.
Yeah, I want to see them leaving. I want to see them leaving Earth in despair because they've been driven off the planet by Godzilla, and the other kaiju, and then I want them to like see them leave, and then like grow in hope, only to have it smashed into the ground over and over and over again, because I'm an evil bastard like that.
Then it would make sense, and
Yeah, and then
that's all being applied.
you get to the point where it's like everything happens at Kôbun, and then it's like, right then, we're going to go home, and then you get this. I'd love a prequel. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I'd love a prequel like that, just so you could see what happened in between.
Yeah,
I want Babylon 5, the Kaiju edition.
I just can't remember how I don't know if I've seen the third one. I think I've seen the second one of these now. I'll not spoil it, but what they talked about comes to be for the other species. The fact this has happened before, sort of thing.
But that is one of the things that gets me. The fact it's like, oh yeah, it's like if it's like Metfi's guys are kind of like, we will, if you give us sanctuary, we will help you defeat Godzilla and give you our god, because religion. And then it's like Muluelus are kind of like, if you allow us to live on your planet, we will destroy Godzilla for you. Mechagodzilla doesn't quite work out in the way they thought it would.
Yeah, it's a loose rubber bolt or something.
It's like they press the button and someone had forgotten to plug it in. It's kind of like interesting, because it's like, that means like Mechagodzilla is still out there somewhere, even though it's
Possibly.
like, what is it, 20,000 years later? But I like how when they're exploring, they found like the remains of human cities. But they're not the remains of human cities, it's where moss and plants have grown around the buildings and kind of like fossilized. So they're almost like shadows of the human buildings made out of plants.
Yeah, because there's no remnant whatsoever.
I really like that. Because have you ever played the game? Have you ever seen or played the computer game Horizon Zero Dawn?
God, yeah, that was
which is supposedly set like thousands of years after mankind has disappeared. Yeah, buildings are still standing.
Yeah, it makes no sense. The only environment that's possible is the desert environment.
Yeah.
Anything else? No.
Right. If mankind disappears in 1,000 years' time, there will only be two buildings. There will only be two types of buildings still standing. One, the ancient pyramids. Two, dams. Huge, big concrete dams like the Hoover Dam.
If they don't get grown over, and don't forget land shifts.
Yeah.
And without repair work, don't forget dams are repaired and like inspected and repaired.
Yeah,
on a daily basis.
Ages ago, there was a television series called After Man, and the whole premise of the thing was like one night mankind just like disappeared off the face of the earth, and it was like in the end, like tens of thousands of years after the disappearance of man, the only man-made buildings, and you can call them that were still around, were the pyramids. Because they're just so huge that they're not going to disappear anytime within the next 500,000 years.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah, I like the way they did that, and yeah, just the fact that this is Earth has become an alien planet.
It was one of those like this is proof. This is proof that man belongs on Earth. It's like, this is the Earth welcoming us back. It's just like really, really good. Amongst all the politics and like the bullets and the screaming and the whatever the hell those things were, there's just like little moments that make you stop and think just for a second. I really like that.
Yeah, you're invested with the characters. That's the thing. You're invested, and because this could have just been a big dumb action movie. There's a lot of action in the sort of third act.
Yeah, it's like when they not so much arrive at Earth, but when they arrive on Earth, it's kind of like they could have taken a wrong turn there and just made it pure action. But there's still these little like conversations, these little human interactions
Yeah, and that's what makes something. That's the difference between hearing a story and just watching visuals.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's the storytelling and the human story, the struggle, the hero's journey, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes it interesting. That makes you want to know more.
Mm.
If it's just shiny lights, like the Godzilla Kong movie and that second one,
Yeah, I haven't
just
seen.
completely devolved
I
into
haven't seen the
stupid
second one
movie.
yet. But it's I've got to
I
be honest.
wasted 15 quid on YouTube. You know why YouTubers rented
Ooh,
that you rented as a
yeah.
premiere?
I,
The Godzilla Kong movie, the first one.
yeah, I saw that. I saw the first one. I saw the first. We've got it on DVD. I saw
I
the
still want my money back. I feel cheated
first. I saw.
spending that amount of money for a premiere rental.
Yeah,
After
right.
that, I swore never again.
I saw the first one. We watched it once. Never seen the second one. Don't want to.
I only managed 10 minutes, and the only reason I
need
did is
to.
because I watched Godzilla -1. My
Mm,
mind was blown at how
mm,
amazing that was,
mm,
and the fact it was only $11 million to make that movie, and it looked
mm.
fantastic.
Have you
And then I watched
seen
10 minutes of Godzilla X Kong and gave up and
right
went,
like
fucking no.
have you seen the Godzilla film before -1, Shin Godzilla?
Oh, God, yes.
It's the one where when Godzilla appears, he's more like a fish, and he's kind of like plodding through the
Mm.
streets of Tokyo, and then he kind of like grows up, and he gets into his teenage stage and starts killing everything. That also it's a great movie. It's got a little bit more comedy than -1. Good God, -1's got no comedy whatsoever. Godzilla -1 is a tragedy.
Oh, absolutely. It's a brilliant movie. It's really, and once again, it's what this movie does. You're on a journey and you feel what's happening, and it's more than just Godzilla himself is just a mechanic, a plot device, a force of nature. He's no different, like we
Mm,
said, to a hurricane or a tsunami or a tidal wave, anything. He's no different to that.
mm,
And he's a backdrop. He's the sort of terrible backdrop,
yeah.
a force of destruction
Mm.
that people are dealing with, but still have to go about their
It's
daily
like
lives.
does God like all these people are running around his feet screaming? Does Godzilla even notice them? I mean, that is the question.
They brought that up. Because there's no way, at the end of the day, it's not like they could study him from afar. Because basically, when Godzilla woke up, he took out the human race. And the story, that was their first and final encounter with him, that they had to leave the planet.
Yeah.
So they haven't really, they might have asked all these questions, but
right, it doesn't actually cover the question. It doesn't actually answer the question. How long were they fighting against? I mean, they were fighting they're fighting against him long enough for like 2 alien races to arrive, and one of them to build Mechagodzilla. So it's I actually think it's kind of like I think it's kind of like a Pacific Rim kind of like backstory, where it's like the kaiju arriving and the mankind is kind of like pulling itself in and contracting itself in towards cities and building walls around themselves. I would say Attack on Titan, but fuck you, Attack on Titan.
that has so much potential.
Attack on Titan, it's too long. Apparently, the last series is really, really good, and I need to rewatch it all.
I got as far as season 2.
There is a lot of Attack on Titan that repeats itself, but apparently the last season is really good.
Well, they messed up. Remember they did season 2, and then they just messed up, and then it disappeared for a while, and then they sort of brought it back in various. They did This is one of the reasons why I gave up on streaming, because they started fucking about with the platforms, and then we're not going to show it here, but we'll show it there, but we'll show it.
I've noticed a lot of.
But that was one of the first after season 2 of Attack on
Mm.
Titan. That's the first of me noticing it. First of the shenanigans going on. You can't watch it here, but we'll now move it to here or whatever, and it just got stupid.
A lot of seasons that I watched like last year, a couple of years ago, that were on Crunchyroll, because I don't want to advertise. I've moved on to another streaming platform. It's like, yeah, you can watch it here now. Yeah, I've got my places where I watch them, and it's like it's not just the thing that annoys me. I've said this before. I apologize for going on about it, but the thing that annoys me about anime streaming sites, especially in the West, is they only cover like 20% of the stuff that's actually released, and it's kind of like it's mainstream stuff. And I don't really watch mainstream stuff. I like quirky little shows. It's like they don't show a lot of the horror. There's certain horror that they will show. Elfen Lied, for example, things like that. But it's like Paranoia Agent. But it's like there are so many horrors out there that they absolutely will not show. Flowers of Evil.
That's stupid, you know.
And I don't get it. I kind of wish that it's like it'd be a terrible thing, but there should be more streaming services, and each streaming service should concentrate on a specific genre.
Well, no, for example, we do have we have Shudder and we have Screambox for horror.
Yeah.
All they have to do is get the license. They need to get their act together.
Yeah.
And get the licenses for animation, for example. They don't do that. And what's the other one? Shit, the Tubi. God's sake, I couldn't remember the name of it for a second. Tubi does really well with horror movies, but independent ones. So just have them more. This is the problem with these big companies want to be all things to all people, and they don't specialize. It used to be companies specialize, and then they did the best they could within their genre, and it worked. Now you've got these, just everything's turning beige, and you know what I mean? It's been a complaint of mine on this channel for 5 years now.
I'm not going to lie, it's like the big three in anime, like Crunchyroll, High Dive, Hulu. They've got some really, really good stuff coming up for like the next couple of seasons. A lot of it is being like simulcast, so it's actually being shown on the same day that it's being shown in Japan. But it's just like it's like I say, it's series that have already made it big, that have a fan base. It's like if it doesn't have like a fan base, or hasn't like at least a couple of series long, they just don't seem to want to show them.
So how do you refresh? How do you get new stuff in? How do you keep creativity going?
The only way you can do that is
it's the same as a Hollywood machine.
Yeah,
Reruns, repeat, reboot, rehash.
You can do that
nothing new.
Taking a risk, but people aren't prepared to take risks because risks cost money.
But there's still stuff being made. It's just
like risks make. Think if back in the day when Fatty or whatever his name is had gone around to Hollywood and said, "Do you know what? I had this brilliant idea for a film." An alien on board this ship hunting down the crew one by one, and somebody gone like, "No, too risky."
No, yeah, wouldn't happen.
It's like we wouldn't have got Alien, we wouldn't have got the Alien franchise. It's like you've got to take risks to find the next new thing, and that's one of the things I like about Japanese cinema. It's one of the things I like Asian cinema in general. They're willing to take those risks.
But the other thing the problem is that they play it safe, but they'll spend 400 million on one property. You take a quarter of that budget, and you could make 10 movies.
It's ridiculous.
Some will flop, some will do okay, some might do great.
Yeah, I mean,
you're spreading, you know what I mean? It's like placing the bets across the board rather than just, I'm going to put it all in this horse and hope that it doesn't get the shits that day, or put its hoof down a rivet, or miss the jump. You know what I mean? I think things are starting to change, but it's I just keep trying to say to people, just look to your independence, just try and stay away from the like mainstream sort of thing. Like this is back in the time when Netflix was doing this stuff well. Now they've completely shit the bed in terms of their anime. It's crap.
Yeah, it's almost
that trap.
It's kind of like it's almost they're trying to. It's like they're trying to do it as cheaply as possible, and it's like it is suffering. I mean, there were a couple of moments in this, mostly when it's close-ups of Godzilla, where you can see the stutter in the animation where they cut down the amount of frames they're using.
Yeah, because it just seemed to just not move.
It's like,
but you've everything else zipping around it. And then And it wasn't a size or scale thing.
Mm.
Because when they have him from a distance, they see him moving at a certain pace, but it was close up. It was just like,
Yeah. So I don't know why, because it's like, if you think about it, if this entire thing is CG, it's seamless animation anyway. Because instead of being like individual cells, it's actually the characters themselves that are moving within whatever program they're using. So I couldn't understand why sometimes it got that stutter.
yeah.
But I did love that model of Godzilla. I also like the fact that it's like the color on the model was so flat. It's like the entire thing seemed to be made out of like flat angles.
Yeah, it was almost like a paradigm, it was like a visual sort of shift.
But
Godzilla isn't part of the Earth.
Or could that
it doesn't blend in?
Could that be something to do with Godzilla's force field? I still love that. I love that idea, the fact that Godzilla can like project his own force field, and that's why nothing hurts him.
And he can regenerate quickly because they've covered that as well, haven't they? He regenerates quickly anyway. That's something that's been covered in canon. Because he'd been dead in the original Toho movies. He'd been dead 10 times over from his injuries.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, look how many times he's been like blown in half or flung off cliffs, buried under giant machines, hit by death rays, been given a leaping kick in the face by Angelus.
I love the fact that they decide, right, we're putting the plan into action, right? They're going for it. Godzilla's heading towards them, and they think that's all got planned out, and they completely forget about the flying lizards. That initially tore a huge chunk in one of their ships without even trying. They completely disregarded that.
Yeah, when there is like, this is it, our base is set. We're going to set up these traps. We're going to set up these sensors. Everything's going to be fine as long as we don't get attacked before. Oh, look, we're being attacked.
Yeah, by not even Godzilla.
How many of these 600 people do you actually think were military personnel, as they were all kind of like and shooting wildly?
I don't think they were. That's the thing. And plus, how can they properly train in a ship?
We don't know how big,
exercise.
We don't know how big the ship is, because it's like.
But still, it's still a pressurized. You can't live fire on it. You can only never served in a ship, but obviously heard enough. You can do like a basic range off the edge. That's it. But you can't like have proper live firing exercises. You need to go out into the hills. You need to go out into the ranges for that. And that's the only way you train.
And
you can do all the drills. It's like getting into a combat sport and never having a match. You can do all the drills till the cows come home to get the first punch in the face. For real. With somebody with intent coming after you, and the only way you can replicate that safely is in a ring. Any combat sport that doesn't have sparring, really, it's not effective. It's the same as being in the military. You have to have live firing exercises. You need to go and you need to be shooting, banging, things blowing up. You need the chaos of war and realistic as possible. They're not going to do that on a spaceship.
No.
And none of the planets are habitable, so it's not like they stop off in planets and have training exercises. It's just not, they're on a run for survival. So we've already seen that the military, they've inherited military equipment, but Sakeki, he's a captain. So he's joined the military in that environment and become a ranking officer.
That's another guy. He's a captain. Captain of what?
He's never set foot from the age of 5 outside that spaceship.
It's like he's a captain. They call him captain of what? He could be a captain of one of those shuttles, for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, the point stands that that's his entire military career is on that ship, running dry drills.
He does okay for it though. I mean, being the fact that he's the one person who doesn't kind of like lose an arm.
Yeah, but you can completely understand. These are technically conscripts. These are raw green recruits on their first deployment. They do not have, over the period of 20 years, any seasoned combat operatives will will have been on the ship that blew up. The ones that sacrificed themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I do like the fact that it's like even before like the monsters attack, we know how dangerous the planet is from when they're having a quick scout around on foot.
Yep.
And that guy goes to touch that leaf, and the other bloke's like, no, don't touch it, don't touch it. Gets his knife, taps it, his knife snaps.
Yeah.
I thought the stinging nettles were bad.
No, but that's
That is, it's like have you ever read the Harry Harrison? There's a Harry Harrison trilogy called Death World.
no, I don't remember that one.
Oh, it's basically it's all about this planet where basically every single thing that lives on this planet for some reason is designed to destroy mankind. Right, and it's like they've landed in the middle of this planet that is just basically built to kill people, and they're just like living there, farming it, like mining it. And it's just kind of like the forest reminds me of that. It's like it's almost as if every single thing that is on like Earth, that's on Earth in this film, is put there to hurt people. Razor sharp plants that are as hard as titanium. Giant, super fast lizard things.
Yeah, but everything's fauna. There's no animal life from what we see on this planet.
I can't work out those lizards. I can't work out what those lizard things are.
They were plant. Remember the gut one, and they analyzed it. It wasn't actually mammal. It wasn't an animal. It was a plant based.
But
This is what happens. See, if humanity ends, see all the freaking plant based shit that's going to be left over in supermarkets. That's going to evolve.
Oh my god! It's Jesus Christ! It's like that's it. I'm never.
Death by corn.
I am never touching the Linda McCartney sausage again, knowing what it's going to evolve into.
Yeah, that's
not going to lie. I actually do like Linda. I do actually like vegetarian sausages. I also enjoy real sausages, but for a change. Also, one of my this will horrify you. You know those really, really horrible, really cheap looking yellow veggie burgers? They're nice in sandwiches.
Oh god!
With lots of brown sauce.
You sick puppy.
Maybe some bacon.
You've got problems. Oh right, slice of bacon over the top.
Maybe some bacon.
Take away the taste of sawdust.
Right. I like.
That's what it is. It's your BLT, isn't it? But you just the BLT. It's a burger form. You got the slice of bacon on top.
It's like meat's vegan anyway because it's all made of grass.
All plant-based comes from the meat processing plant. I hate vegans. Vegans rub me up. They're so preachy and
that's the only thing wrong with people who eat I don't mean this in any bad term, irregular diets. Right, it's like a book diet or a magazine diet, or I've got it off the internet, or this guru living on the top of this mountain somewhere up in the high Himalaya has told me that I should only eat rocks and nuts. They're just kind of like, and it's the best thing ever. Oh,
they're trying to convince themselves. That's the problem, and they need to preach.
My brother Philip. I've got three brothers: Kevin, Philip, and John. My middle brother Philip. He became a vegetarian. He moved out of house and he rented this house off one of the local vicars, believe it or not. And the vicar was a vegetarian. He convinced our Philip to become a vegetarian. He used to visit home every Sunday. And no matter what time he came, my mother always made sure that the tea on that Saturday was bacon sandwiches. My mother, this isn't a joke. This is honest to God truth. My mother lured my brother Philip back to the dark side with the power of bacon sandwiches because he just couldn't. He gave.
I can respect that.
He ate the youngling. It's.
Nah, I just find it doesn't matter what it is, veganism or what, but somebody's preachy is just insufferable, and I just can't be arsed with them. But it's handy people are like that because at least you know then that you don't want to interact with them.
Yeah, true. And he did indeed, and He did indeed, Andy. Believe it or not, the original Godzilla film is a ban the bomb film.
Yeah, it's born of the atomic era. That's the whole point behind it. And there's sort of play with that here as well. But yeah, everything just goes into chaos, and they just have to throw everything at Godzilla.
I love the fact that nothing can stop Godzilla, and it's like, it's that bad. You know what? It's that bad. We need to abandon our homeworld and head off there into the darkness where we don't even know if we're going to find another place to stay.
But they know how that's working out. But
Yeah.
that's where we got the comment. We might have to retreat to the moon and do foraging missions. It's like, you should have just done that in the first place, you silly bastards. You wouldn't be starving and friggin'.
I mean, surely by whenever this time this happens, Elon's on Mars. May stay there for a long time. But it's...
Why is nobody building a base on the moon first? Why is everyone shooting off the Mars straight away and not building a base on the moon first?
Because nobody's been there before. Everybody wants to be first.
Okay.
I don't. As far as science is concerned, I don't actually see how, or the betterment of mankind, I don't actually see how getting to Mars is going to do any good for anyone. Because it's like, we know there's all these metals and minerals and things that we're starting to run short of down here on the moon, but we haven't got the technology to go and get them. So, going to Mars, I actually think this is me, how I think science is going. I actually think the first person to go to Mars will also be the first person to die there, because how the hell are we going to get them back?
Well, it's a one-way trip. They've always said that. That whole thing going to Mars is...
Please, dark thought for the evening.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. That's never been disputed. Like the whole thing to Mars, but
yeah. So it's like you could ask the question here. It's like they send them off in kind of like these half-assed, really clunky, rickety-looking ships with like only the supplies that they've got. It's kind of like right there. We're going to go out there, and we're either going to find a place to live or die.
Yeah, but extreme, isn't it?
Because it's like when they're talking about going back to Earth, it's like, no, we shouldn't be going back to Earth. We don't need to. We've got to find a new place that isn't Earth.
But they haven't. They've been trying for 22 years. You know what I mean? And that's the whole point.
It's very.
But that's all played. That's all played in. That's not done stupidly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This is one of the questions that keeps getting brought up throughout the movie, which is cool.
It's a great movie. Andy, watch it.
What was I thinking? Yeah, like in real terms, the ship that's going to take us to any other planet can't be built on the Earth's atmosphere.
No,
it has to be built in space.
But there's no way. It's like a ship to Mars has got to be built in Earth orbit, because there is no way, with all the fuel and all the equipment that's going to be needed, it's impossible to launch something that heavy. It's like, right, the heaviest thing that's ever been sent into Earth orbit was 110 tons. That was Skylab. And that took a Saturn V. All of
There's
a
link in the description
into low orbit.
I always put, where I can, a link of the movies we're talking about in the description.
It's a really good film. It's really good. It's nice because it asks questions. It answers most of them, but it just leaves enough unanswered to tease you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I like that in film.
That's another series that got it right with space travel was actually Star Trek. When you think of the I can't remember what they're called. You know, they're docking ship stations.
Yeah.
Actually, the space docks, you know, they built them out there, and then when the starships came in and docked and got repaired, it never happened on a planet. It was actually in space. That made sense.
But I think every single like Star Trek film got space dock in it, because they always start off from space dock.
Yeah, but that makes sense. The before the thing takes off to the unknown, it has to get supplied, it has to get tested, and that's basically their waypoints. No, like the old way stations, explorers used, they built the camps. They put the stashes of supplies, etc. For like, if people get up the Everest, they build the same thing. They put base camps, and they drop off supplies so that they gather them on the way back. That's the same principle. Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think we know from this movie that the human race is not spacefaring
No, we're not.
because none of that infrastructure is built around the planet. If the human race was spacefaring, that would all be built. It'd be, the same as the International Space Station. It would just
Yeah.
be,
I mean,
it would just be a bigger version, and it would be able to.
considering all the things that were being tested in like the late 70s through to the 80s through to the early 90s, I'm quite surprised the industry hasn't moved into orbit.
At some point, we just stopped. I think.
It's almost like the end of the shuttle era seemed to stop that. It's like when it stopped being as easy as it was to send payloads into orbit.
But they never got built. You know what I mean? Apart
Yes,
from the
they
International Space Station,
they dragged the shuttles out far longer than they should have done until they wore out.
yeah.
Which is why we lost 2 shuttles.
But they never built anything out there. There's never like a shuttle brought out and kept for exploring and refueled.
No,
Like there was none of that done. I don't At some point we regressed. Like we should be in the stars right now. We should be out there. We should know this solar system of nothing else.
I do not think we will ever leave the solar system. But it's like I am surprised that we haven't got.
Look at the Great Expanse. The Expanse. That series. It never left the solar system.
I mean, there were plans. There were plans for building the moon base in the 70s, but it's like Apollo 17. Apollo 17 was the last Apollo mission. They were supposed to go up to 21. It's like there was supposed to be Apollo 21, but it's kind of like the Vietnam War was happening. All this money was being poured into NASA. The American people were unhappy with the things that the government was doing, so they just canned it. They canned the moonshots because it was more important to wage war.
Yeah, it's
Idiot.
At some point we just and I think after 50s, 60s, like we got the pinnacle and we're actually in decline right now because everything's going to rat shit.
It's like Kennedy, President Kennedy. We are going to the moon and do other things. It's taken us a long time to do the other things.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a shame. Like instead, what we're doing is arguing on social media about our genitals and not actually doing anything constructive. And I don't think the next generation. I don't think there's no thinkers anymore. Everyone's a drone. There's no visionaries. There's nobody.
The next generation. If we survive long enough, the generation after that, I think, has some hope. Because it's like we've gone through all this political shenanigans and people like screaming and about identity and things like that. It's kind of like we're getting over that now. It's like the focus is shifting, and it's like people aren't taking notice of the Notice Me Brigade anymore.
Yeah, but it's going to the damage has been done to people's minds. That's the problem. Nobody thinks anymore. Everyone waits to be told what opinion to have to be popular. That's everyone. Everyone clicks on that stupid little rectangle thing and want to be told this dopey thing to keep. Okay, what should I think today?
I'm going to retweet.
This is the death. This is the death of humanity. See this thing? This is what killed humanity.
See, the most useful thing.
This is Godzilla. This is our Godzilla.
Godzilla is social media. That's it. I'm going to create a social media site that when you open it, Godzilla's roar comes out of it, and that's going to be the notification symbol.
That's honestly, it wasn't a natural disaster. It wasn't a plague. It wasn't a war. It was a little rectangle. That's what killed the human race. I guarantee that's
a man-made disaster. That's just it. So people do like to be told what to think.
I'm just like yourself of a generation that came up before that, so it hasn't always been part of my life.
my
Anyone after us
yes,
is
my oldest brother John is of the previous generation. You know, every time his mobile phone goes off, he jumps like 3 feet in the air. Well, I go like, oh, phone, because I'm. But yeah, it's kind of like, my God, the mobile, the internet and social media is our Godzilla. That is the most depressing thing I have heard in a long time.
it's so true. That is so true. That's what's killed us.
That's it. After this is finished, I'm going to go and have a strong drink of tea. It's
I'll not spoil the end of this. I don't think we should spoil the end of this. I think
no. I think we
we're deliberately dodging around the plot points.
It's that's just it. It's like we've covered the introduction. We've covered the escape from Earth.
The return to
We've
Earth.
covered like the machinations on board the ship and the return to Earth. We've covered like the return to Earth's surface. We've hinted at the fact that things don't quite go as well as we think, but I actually think yes, for the finale of this.
Yeah, I believe that. Obviously,
we need to leave some guesswork in there so that we can actually get people to go and watch this. It's yep. I am. This is. I hadn't seen this. I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but I really enjoyed this.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like I said, looking forward to the next one. Right. Okay. Shall we spin the wheel?
Oh God, let's spin the wheel.
Let's see what we're going to
Oh
get.
my God! Please, not Legend of the Overfiend. Please, not Legend of the Overfiend.
Oh, I've got.
Lee'll enjoy it too. Lee'll enjoy it far too much. Oh God, it's right there. Look.
Where's my? Oh, there it is. Right. Hang on. So when it comes to Legend of the Overfield, I've built this.
Oh, thank God for that.
So what I can do is we can have a watch party.
Oh Jesus! Oh my God! Oh no! But
so if I don't play the sound,
it'll be like what's happening in the background.
No, but they would hear the sound won't play. I can switch out so it doesn't play the sound.
Oh God! It's like Legend of the Overfiend belongs behind bars anyway.
So yeah, if that comes up, it's a watch party. Right, time to go.
You're not worried about being demonetized, are you? Blimey.
No, but that's what I said. That's what I've got this. I made this so that when we go to the I might need to make it a wee bit thicker.
I see you like a black screen with a small hole about 3 by 3 pixels in the top right hand corner.
But
you probably still can knob through it.
Right, okay, I'm clicking the button now. Let's do it.
Let's go. Round and round and round it goes where it stops.
Boogie Pop Phantom.
Ooh, right. Boogie Pop Phantom has one of my most favorite villain names in it. Spooky Electric. Oh my God, I'm gonna enjoy this one. 13. Was it? Oh, hang on. Is it 13 episodes or is it 6? I think it's an OVA series.
A light in the sky, followed by a strange aura and murders. Each character tells a relationship with the event. All the stories are slowly intertwined by apparently minimal similarities, as the story of Boogie Pop is revealed.
Boogie Pop.
Episodes, 12 episodes.
12 episodes. See, right,
are we going to do a first core, second core?
We can do if you want to. I mean, which was a core is 12 episodes, but we can do first half, of course, second half. There is a lot going on in Boogie Pop Phantom. You remember I mentioned in Paranoia Agent how it'd be nice if there was some kind of like marker that told you where about in the story you were.
Yep.
And I said there is an anime in which there is a marker that appears in every episode to let you know where in the story that episode is actually happening. Boogie Pop Phantom is that anime.
Ah, cool. Right. So I think we'll do a part 1 and part 2. It makes sense because at least we can, rather than trying to cram 12 episodes in.
Sounds the problem is like when you start watching something and you really, really enjoy it, and you end up just like hogging the entire series.
We are strong. We can do this.
Boogie Pop Phantom. Right, we've got to find something there to fill in Boogie Pop Phantom space on the wheel.
What's that? What year is that? 2000?
2008, I think it was.
Yeah. It's interesting animation. I'm just seeing some of the stills here.
Click, click, clickety, 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 clickety. Madhouse. Madhouse is an awesome animation studio.
Yep. Well, it looks like
Oh no, 2000. January 2000 to March 2000. 12 episodes. Winter season. Dark fantasy, psychological thriller, urban fantasy.
Oh, that's the novels.
Right, the one problem with Boogie Pop Phantom is the fact that it's kind of like it's set in the timeline of the novels. So if you haven't read the novels, there are certain characters who are a bit hard to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Novels have never been printed in English.
Oh, it's Takashi Watanabe directed it. I know him. What's he done now? Demon King Demo.
Fist of the North Star, maybe?
Fist of the North Star, yep. Space Pirate Mido.
Wow, Ikito-san.
Stories Girls. Can't be... Oh,
Heavy Object. Heavy Object is awesome. It's a bit of a comedy thing. Boogie Papa. Battle Skipper. Battle Skippers was good. Wait, didn't he do Slayers as well? Sure, he did do Slayers. Sorry, Slayers. Slayers is like a fantasy comedy thing from a long way ago.
Yep. So there we go. We're going to be doing that. That'll be fun.
I'm going to enjoy it. I love Boogie Pop Phantom. It's just like the first time. There's a chance the first time you watch it, it'll make no sense whatsoever. Just nothing new for anime.
That's all right. We've done that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That'll be fun. I'll get that set up. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for more shenanigans.
Oh, yes.
All right. Just leaves me to say then, thanks as always for turning up. Great to have you. And
always a pleasure.
Great to talk about this stuff. And thanks for everyone that tuned in. Just leaves me to say, until next time, keep updating the channel, do the types of things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.